Hi, and welcome to the Crit Hit Wild podcast, where we cover all things Marvel Crisis Protocol, and we do a new character every week. This week, we're going to be talking about Omega Sentinel, and I'm your host, Fred.
I'm Brad.
I'm Tom.
Hello, everyone. We are a contracted team today, but we've got Tom joining us. He's been on many episodes, and he's here today to help us talk about Omega Sentinel. How is everyone doing today? How are you doing today, Tom?
Oh, just Ducky.
I'm glad to hear that. How about you, Brad? How are you doing?
I'm doing okay.
That's good. Yeah, we just got back yesterday from a big tournament. Oh no, a train is going by. Can you guys hear a train? Sorry about that, everybody. I live near train tracks. Okay. We got back from the big Appalachian Cup finals for the 2025-2026 season, and we have a lot to discuss today. Before we discuss the outcome of the tournament, I think we should talk about games that are coming up soon, and some MCP news that is relevant and that we will cover more in depth next week. But let's start with some upcoming tournaments. Starting in May, on May the 16th, there is a tournament at Lost Legion Games and Comics. That is in South Charleston, West Virginia. That is our local game store. It is a small event. This will just be a couple of us there, but we are always happy to see new people show up. So if you are in the area and want to come and crash our event, please do. We welcome you.
Fred, before you go to the next one,
okay,
because Fred didn't know about this one, on May 9th at Battlegrounds in Ravenna, Ohio, they are having a tournament.
Okay, on May 9th in Ravenna, Ohio. That's close to Akron,
yes.
Correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think Roundtable is going to have theirs next weekend on Saturday. I just can't make it, so I don't remember.
Okay.
In Dublin, Ohio.
Roundtable in Dublin, that's on the 9th as well.
I think that the second?
Oh, the second. I see. Yeah, you're right. The next Saturday coming up. You're right. That's at in Dublin, Ohio, Roundtable Games on the 2nd. All right. And then coming up on the 23rd of May, this is the beginning of the 2026-2027 Appalachian Cup season, and it is at Fabricators Forge in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. This will be run by Bryce. We're all kicking this thing off early. We're getting ready to get started for the next season, and I am excited. I will be there. Oh,
yeah, the Longshanks is up. I just want to make sure listeners know that.
Yeah. So sign up, get ready, and let's kick some butt in 26 and 27. Then on the 30th of May, there is a tournament at Recess Games in North Olmsted, Ohio. This is a very cool store. This is near Cleveland, so if you are in the northern part of Ohio, head on over there. They have a very good space, and it's a lot of fun. Okay, those are the upcoming events for the month of May that I know of.
Yeah, and Fred, I just want to, I know this is way ahead, but there are 3 other dates announced for the Appalachian Cup, so if people want to plan ahead, June 20th at Lost Legion Games and Comics in South Charleston, West Virginia. July 11th at Battlegrounds in Ravenna, Ohio. And August 29th at Old School Gaming in Toledo, Ohio.
There we go.
And on that, all those are marked with the Appalachian Cup tag, correct? In case people are wondering.
Thank you, Tom. That's awesome. We do have a tag. All the qualifiers this past season and then going forward will be marked with it. So if you search for the tag, you can always find the events.
In Longshanks.
In Longshanks, yeah.
That is very helpful. I'll tell you right now, I've been searching for events in the past, and it can be a pain in the butt. Okay, so let's do a quick rundown of a bit of news that came out literally last night that we're still processing, but and we don't have time to go through entirely. But we now know the crises that are coming in the next Crisis box, what they are and what their rules are. Let's do like one sentence just to put together our thoughts. Fightier. That's what I'm gonna say. More and more of the you grab them and they disappear out of your hands extracts at the end of their turn. I think every single one of the extracts are like that, where it's a generator of extracts and you grab it and then you are holding it until the end of the turn and it goes away. Brad, what's one sentence on these new crises from you?
You were so succinct, Fred.
Yeah, I
You
gave
really
like
nailed
one
that.
run-on sentence with multiple contractions.
These look very interesting. I am interested to see what ones actually make the cut to be legal, because like some of these, like the Spotlight one, are very complicated.
The Spotlight one, meaning the one with the fields.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
The flavor
There is another
is that
one.
they're spotlights.
Right. There is another one where the secures are called spotlights,
Yeah.
and that is the simplest one. I was a bit confused for just a second. Okay. Tom, what are your thoughts real quick?
Salvage supplies is going to be the happiest Brotherhood extract and the saddest Kingpin extract.
Hey, it may be a little bit of a fix for Kingpin. Just a little bit.
I don't remember which one that is.
That's the one you have to have two people to pick it up.
Oh.
Where they have to like team carry everything.
Okay,
Yep.
yeah.
And you can't pass it.
Yes.
So all the steals and stuff like that.
Yeah, that one will be interesting.
Indeed.
I kind of hope that one is legal, even though it's gonna be really tough.
I hate it.
All right. Let's move on to the games that we've played recently. Specifically, let's talk about the tournament that came up. So this was a 16-person invitational tournament for those who had acquired enough points to make it there in the Appalachian Cup season. This was a great event. I had a ton of fun. 16 people means that it is guaranteed 4 rounds, but only 4 rounds. So we have 4 rounds to discuss. My round 1 opponent, as discussed in our previous episode, was Jeff Fred Slayer, and he lived up to his name. I'm gonna spoil it right there. So we played on Mutant Extremists and Lockdown on table 6. This is gonna be relevant. We played at threat value 19. He won, or I won the initial priority, and then he won going first. And that is going to be relevant here in round 1. We played on Mutant Extremists, which is Senators. That's his red crisis. I just so happened to draw I think he only had 1 civilian red crisis, and I drew it. And we played on Lockdown, which is my blue crisis. And I most certainly did not want to do any of my opponent's blues. So I chose my blues this game because my opponent, Jeff, was playing Kingpin. His team was Kingpin, Miles Morales, Ironmonger, Black Hat, Toad, and Prowler at 19 threat. My team at 19 was Maximus the Mad, the Dog, Lockjaw, Baron Zemo, Gorgon, Karnak, and Crystal. So we were squared off on the Lockdown square and trying to get the 6 Senators. The first round played out mostly with everyone grabbing Senators, and we were in line for things to end up with a 6-6. Is that how the math works out? No, a 5-5 end to round 1. However, However, in his last activation, he dazes my Crystal. He's able to shoot a shot at Crystal and daze her, which means that she drops her thing and he picks it up, hit her Senator, and he picks it up. So I'm activating Maximus the Mad, and I'm worried at going into next round in a deficit of 4-6 against Kingpin. I cannot let that happen. That is going to be devastating for me. So I move up, and Maximus the Mad attacks Miles Morales, which is a pretty good thing because I have Mystic Attack, so he doesn't get any rerolls. And I do 3 damage to him, which is not bad. I rolled pretty well, and he did not defend anything, I think. So doing 3 damage, I generate 3 power. And I know right now what needs to happen. I Terragenesis in round 1 of this game. I succeed in doing 2 damage to Miles Morales, and I successfully Terragenesis. So we go into the next round, my opponent at 5 and me at 7 victory points. That helped me a lot. And that's really good because the next round went so bad for me, it's crazy. Can I just say, Prowler in this game was outstanding. Prowler has an attack where the defender cannot modify their defense dice. And I depend on modifying my defense dice in order to be okay. So Prowler started shooting people, and Jeff was rolling well with this attack, and I took a lot of damage. On the side where Prowler was participating, Prowler basically melted my side. I did much better on the other side of the lockdown. I was fighting Ironmonger, and I was worried about Ironmonger. And can I just say, when I was looking at Ironmonger, I was thinking this guy's broken crazy good because he's 3 threat and he's bringing all this stuff to the table. But when you see him on the table, I will be frank, I feel like he feels like a 3 threat. He does go down. He does do normal 3 threat things. He's not broken. He's good, but he's not incredible like how I was worried. So I kind of dealt with Ironmonger without a whole lot of difficulty. We fight, and this is a classic Kingpin game where he gets ahead on points and he stays ahead on points. And this game ends 18-12, and it's mostly Prowler's fault. That's what I'm going to say. So that is how my round 1 went. Brad, why don't you tell us about how your round 1 went?
All right, so I played Josh Sinclair, who has been on the episode. He won one of the qualifiers. And I playing Apocalypse. This is the farewell tour. I'm going to be playing something else after this. And he's playing Criminal Syndicate. And we end up on Lockdown and Montesi formula at 18 points, which is exactly where I want to be. And he plays Shadowland Daredevil, Carnage, Mephisto, and Loki 2. So, like, I've played against, like, a Loki 2, Mephisto, Shadowland Daredevil list before, and did not go well for me. So, like, this is a little intimidating, but on turn 1, Apocalypse gets an attack into his, because it's Lockdown, people are way back. But I still get an attack on Carnage, do 5 damage to him. He has priority going into turn 2. So I loaded Carnage up with a ton of power. I'm worried he's going to go crazy style on my guys and kill several people. Instead, he retreats over to the other side of the board, patches up Carnage, and then Carnage sits there for most of the game on the only point I don't have people on. So Carnage is a nothing this entire game. Now, Loki 2 and Mephisto make up for this and are beating me up pretty bad. Beast is off the table. First activation turn 3, I think. It might have been earlier. It might have been turn 2. I might have moved him just a bit too far up turn 1. I don't remember for sure. But Beast is out pretty quickly. Magic is hurt pretty bad turn 2, but I patch her up and move her to my right lockdown, which is diagonal from the one Carnage is sitting on. So she's the only model sitting on that point. She sits there with an extract most of the game, earning me 2 points a turn. Apocalypse does a real good job of flipping Shadowland. He has what should be a big activation, but it doesn't quite work out for Josh and his Shadowland Daredevil. It certainly helped that we, at the same time, I'm about to tell him, you forgot about your hand ninjas, when he says, I forgot my hand ninjas. We realized at the same time at the end of Shadowland Daredevil's activation, and we agreed that it was way too late. Way too much had happened to even try to fix that. So, Gambit takes out a Mephisto at one point, which is great. Just flips him. He doesn't kill him. I was pretty in control of the secures, the ones that weren't turned off each turn. And the extracts, except for the one on Magic, are going back and forth. He ends up dazing Apocalypse before the end of the game, but not kill him. Blob is fine. Gambit's fine. So I win this game 17-8 and go on to the next round of the bracket.
Okay, congratulations, Brad. And Tom, why don't you tell us about your round one?
Yeah, so I am paired up into the Grand Regent of Toledo, Dan, who is a Web Warriors player and primarily plays Web Warriors like all the time. So it's a pretty experienced player in a crisis scenarios format. And I'm playing Kingpin, so we're playing scenario into scenario. And I think I mentioned it previously. Over the last year, the releases that Criminal Syndicate has flipped the Web Warrior matchup into Crims, I think, on its head. Web Warriors used to be pretty strong into criminals, but the advent of Echo, which can eliminate their rerolls, plus has mobility and can actually go above their defensive stats. Ironmonger being a size 4, and the change in collision throws kind of making brace less important means Indom is a lot easier to take in your restricted slots. And I feel like Crims is actually winning that matchup more than often now. And this is an Infinity game with Terrigen canisters. He goes one wider than I am, so he's all 3s and a 2. I'm running Kingpin, Rhino, Ironmonger, Echo, Cat, I think. And I think he had Spectacular, Zemo, Miles, Gwen, Cat, Ham. Math probably works out somewhere in there, it's close to it. And you ever had that game where like you're in the like turn 2, it's pretty close, and then you just see the Matrix, and you're like, oh, I can just do this. And I have never, in any game I've played, used the second half of Kingpin's leadership 3 times. And I did it all game this time. And so what it would be I would have an asset. I would toss the asset away from all of the steel characters onto one of mine and then target that steel character to pick up. Or I would daze someone, toss an extract back into someone not holding one, and then pick it up on that character and leave. And I was just able to really split the extract control while leveraging the fact that I was running Indom and Warpath and had, a size 4 Ironmonger across from his Spectacular as his only displacement piece on the left side, that he could never find his footing to pull my models anywhere. Because he's smart enough to know that I will always run down Gwen as fast as possible. So he was playing her very cagey, which I think ended up really giving me an advantage in this game.
Can I answer your question that you posed earlier? If you've ever experienced looking at a game and seeing the Matrix? No, I have no idea what you're talking about.
It was definitely the kind of thing that as turn two opened up and I started looking at board position, going into like the mid two into three, it became very simple to see how to rotate the assets away from the stuff he was going to rely on to win the game, and just put him in awkward places. Like the models
Uh-huh.
that were carrying them would, like, a model carrying one would run back to somebody else, give that person on their activation next time, would pass them the asset, then move forward. So it just really worked out well that I kind of avoided giving him any of those opportunities to leverage his extract strength.
Yeah. So you played very well, is what you're saying.
I liked it.
Yep. Well, congratulations. It sounds like a hell of a game. You're right that the new stuff for Criminal Syndicate seems to be turning that matchup on its head. That's what all the Web Warriors players that I've talked to have said recently.
Yeah,
All right.
like I said, the ability to take indom and not care is pretty great.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Well, that's our round one. So as of right now, Brad and Tom moved forward in their bracket, and Fred didn't. Oh well. So we go to round two. My round two opponent is Daniel, the person that Tom played in round one. So
Daniel and I were playing on Inhumans Deploy. That Daniel won the priority, so he chose his red crises, and that means that I choose my blue crises. I will give a piece of information for my list for Inhumans. I have a lot of trouble, especially against Web Warriors, on the blue, on the D-shaped secures, on the diamond, the really spread out secures. And oftentimes those are something that you find in a Web Warriors roster, because Web Warriors have no problem on those games. So I would have chosen the same flip. I would have chosen my blues and his reds, even though it basically guarantees that I'm not going to have a Terrigenesis. This is better for me to play on my blues in this scenario. So we're doing Inhumans Deploy. That's the one that's straight across the middle with 4 extracts, and Lockdown again on table 6. So that we are playing at 18 threat, and his roster was Miles Morales, Spectacular Spider-Man, Black Cat, Namor, and Spider-Woman. Yes, that's 18. At 18, I have a little bit of trouble. So my roster is 3 4s and 2 3s. I usually like to go 3 heavy with Inhumans, but at 18, the best place is Maximus the Mad, Medusa, Shang-Chi, Gorgon, and Baron Zemo. So that's what I was playing. And can I say, Shang-Chi was a house this entire game. Shang-Chi's amazing. He's still, right now, in my personal opinion, the best 4 threat in the game. His abilities to flow like water after a builder attack, or to do the 1-inch punch and displace someone, even someone he didn't target with his initial attack, is incredible. It's such a good effect. He can choose whether it's physical or mystic on his builder, and it's 6 dice. And this guy running around punching with mystic punches at 6 dice is the last thing that a Web Warriors player wants to see. Daniel was also counting on Namor charging and hitting with the trident and staggering people to give him quite an advantage. And here's the thing about Namor in this game.
He never once successfully staggered someone because he has to do damage with his trident. And Namor was rolling poorly on that roll every single turn. And when he did succeed once, he rolled a couple successes. I forced him to re-roll those successes with Maximus the Mad and turn them into failures. This Namor was an unusually poor in this game. Namor usually is kicking butt, and that's just dice. That's just because the dice were not in his favor. This game kind of got into a grind. We were in parity for points throughout the entire game. To round 6, we went to round 6 in this game, and we were in complete parity in points. And then round 6, the attrition swung hard in my favor, and I think I scored something like 6 points on him, and the game ended 21-15. This was a very close game, and had Namor rolled anything good, I think that I'd probably lose this game. But I feel like the Inhumans game on lockdown into Web Warriors is pretty solid. I've got good options, and Shang-Chi obviously absolutely pulled me through this game. Yeah, so that's how my round 2 went. I won! Yay! Brad, why don't you tell us about how your round 2 game went?
I play Bryce. We're on Scrolls and Super Predator Scoundrels. 20 threat. Normally on 20 threat, I'll play 2 4s and 2 3s. And I was about to do that, and then I just had a hunch. That I wanted to go wide. So I played the same thing I played the first round, so Apocalypse. Oh, no, not exactly the same, because I did not play Blob. I played Deadpool, Gambit, Magic, Beast, and Toad. So I had 5 horsemen. Toad did not get a horseman card. Bryce took a really long time picking out his list and then played the good models in his list. So I don't know why it took so long. He played Doctor Strange, Namor, Shang-Chi, Echo, Beta Ray Bill. He just played the good models. I don't know why it took that long. This was a weird game because Apocalypse doesn't really like Namor and doesn't really like Doctor Strange. So I played a little bit back with him. He was on one of the back things, but he still did a lot of work. So Bryce had moved Zemo up to attack Magic turn 1, so I could just teleport and double tap him and daze him with Apocalypse. Turn 1. I tried to take him out turn 2, fell 1 health short, and then he kind of, because he fell back, and then he was too far away after that, so I think I ended up hitting somebody else for the second attack. And he runs clear across the board after that, away from Apocalypse, over by where Beast ended up. Beast sat most of the game on one of Bryce's Super Predator Scoundrels. The middle point, we had Bill and Beast, and they were sitting on opposite sides of a size 3 like tanker, which sucks for Beast because he's size 3 and can be seen, and he can't see Bill or Echo when she moves over there. I was actually relieved when Bryce threw the tanker at Beast or Gambit, somebody who ended up over there. Because that means that it wasn't in the way anymore, and I could see his models. Namor, early in the game, charged into, I think he charged Gambit, did nothing, attacked again either Gambit or Toad, because they were both on that point at that point, which was my side left, and did nothing again, and then Gambit dazed him and took his extract. It was very bad for Bryce. That's probably what sealed the game. Between that and Beast got knocked down to 1 health and then got to run away to that point I said he was sitting at from the middle point, and then stayed up that turn and maybe the next, and scored me a couple points on that secure. Magic and Apocalypse tried to fight Doctor Strange, but it didn't go well. Doctor Strange never flipped. Magic did. And I win 16-12. Things just kind of went just a little my way, and I pulled it out.
Well, congratulations. I'll say this. Size 3 models are... There's a weird thing that I think I'm noticing with the changes to throws, is that size 3 models are starting to become more of a hindrance, because most models that can throw models can still throw them, but they can be seen over a lot of terrain.
Yep.
Like, as you were saying, there's this problem that they can see you even though you're behind a building, but you can't see them. And that came up in one of my games later too, where I could see my opponent and he couldn't see me.
Yeah.
It was an interesting situation that comes up. Okay, Tom, why don't you talk about your round 2 game?
Yeah, so my round 2 was your round 1 opponent, Jeff. This is the first time we've ever gotten to play, and there's those games that as you're playing them, you're sure you're like figuring stuff out on the fly, and you're being challenged constantly. This is like one of the hardest games I've ever played. We're both playing Kingpin. It's Infinity and Montesi. We both have Kingpin. We both have Ironmonger. We both have Black Cat. Then he goes Silk and Quicksilver, and I've got Rhino and Echo. And I win Prio. Ironmonger gets the book in the center, but then Quicksilver steals it using the card. And everything's kind of normal. I'm down up point round 1, but that's fine. It's an uneven extract, and it's a Kingpin versus Kingpin game, so neither of us have a secure advantage on our leaderships. Round 2, I am still... This is like my 3rd game with Ironmonger, I think, maybe 4th. And you know how you were mentioning, Fred, you think he's a much stronger model than he looks on paper. When you have the model on the table, you definitely feel that. And so I commit with Ironmonger to try to hop in and do some damage to Silk on this turn, because he's moved her pretty aggressively up. And I burn Cruel Tutelage and Cruelty, and I think rerolls because of the damage I took, and I just barely get her. And all I can think is, man, but I'm so big. I'm such a big robot. Why doesn't she die? And I think because I burned Cruel Tutelage and Cruelty, I'm a little miffed, and I don't advance him with his hop to the point. This ends up either being a really good thing for me or a really bad thing for me, and I still don't know the answer to that. So we go back and forth. He does really good attrition on the right side of the game. We've got the majority of our models on the right side fighting over things or trying to recontest and position jockey for position. On the left side, it's just kingpin on kingpin, waiting for whoever goes last to throw the other one off the point and waddle back to theirs. But the big thing starts coming. He has a great turn where Quicksilver uses the Montesi book actually to daze Echo and Ironmonger on his prio turn. So the first activation, and I'm down 2 models. This turn is really hard. He has done a great job, even prior to that, doing a bunch of chip damage, and Silk spiked decently well early. So every time I'm trying to think about a movement to get into range or to try to get into some sort of position that I can try to get an extract advantage on the models he has, I have to be very cautious of Silk's tricks and traps ability or whatever it's called, because he'll just kill me. This was definitely a difficult round. That number one, I'm down 2 activations. I just kind of have to let him take as many points as he can get. He's at like a 3-point lead at this point, and hope my next round I can do a big robbery turn, rotate Rhino across the board as fast as possible, which is what I do. By getting Rhino out of the mix with an asset, I'm starting to move where the points are in the board. At some point, I think I pass Kingpin an asset and pick another one up from another days. I can't quite remember. I'm able to have Ironmonger take out his Ironmonger, and because I was out of position, I can move and toss the asset I picked up from him to Kingpin. But this is where it really hurt me. I needed one more power to back hop away in order to get out of range 3 of his uh, Quicksilver plus holding a secure. And I've got an Ironmonger on 1 life and an Echo on 1 life, both within range 3 of Quicksilver as his final activation once he moves to the point. And he has to take the point because we're really, really tight in this game. He's got the lead, but I've got the assets. And if his Quicksilver goes off and removes 2 of my models this round, I don't think I can win this game. And they're both on 1 HP. Luckily, he whiffs into Echo, and she plays fallback immediately just because I can't stay in range of this model. And then Quicksilver kills Ironmonger. If he had gotten both those models, I'm screwed. But because Echo's still alive, for the next turn, she moves nearly to the end of the board, just within range 3 of Black Cat, who throws her asset. And I'm just holding a Black Cat with a lot of power in case he takes one of the other assets I have on the board on that side. And because, it's hard to cross that board, I managed to hold on to the 3 assets that I have on that side and score those 2 points for a second round, and that's what locks in the game for me. It was an unbelievably close game and difficult. And I mean, Jeff played great. He played fantastic.
Yeah, Jeff is a great player. He knows what he's doing, and Kingpin v Kingpin means that
it's just straight down to who's going to end up playing the game better, and or who has more things just go their way over the course of the game. And it sounds like you pulled it out.
Yeah,
good job.
I gotta look at Silk again, because I mean, I was on this podcast talking about her and thought she was strong, but she did so much work this game, not just in terms of her attacks and stuff, which were scary, but he did a great job with area denial, because I was on so few hit points, even with my models like Ironmonger, who is not immune to her just popping that 1 damage off. That it was a really tough game.
It sounds like it. I'm glad that I was not a part of it. That sounds awful. Being the Kingpin, so I've talked to Borka, a friend of the pod, a lot about this, and the Kingpin v Kingpin match is like a cerebral experience for both players. Both players have to know have to think through the entire round every single time and think what the first activation of the next round is going to be.
Yeah.
So it's like the most cognitive load that can be in this game.
It's definitely a matchup or two. You're like, I have to attack you because I need a wild, but if I kill you, I lose. Because then
Right.
then you have last activation or the next round or probably the next round or things like that. It's a tough matchup. And I mean, Jeff played it really, really well.
Yep. Well, good job. That means that Brad and Tom are both 2-0, and they are still in the bracket moving forward. And I'm now 1-1. So let's move to round 3. My round 3 opponent is member of the podcast, Steven, playing Spider Foes, and we play. Well, I win priority, so I choose my reds to play, and he plays his blues. He chooses Spider Infected, and I choose Lockdown. And this is Lockdown on table 6. And we choose threat value of 17. So I am playing at 17 threat. I'm going to bring Maximus the Mad. I'm going to bring Medusa, and then Gorgon, Baron Zemo, and Crystal. I believe that. Yeah, it was Crystal. I brought Crystal in this game. And he brought Lizard, Green Goblin, obviously, Craven the Hunter, Doc Ock, 3-threat Doc Ock, and Emma Frost. So this is an interesting matchup to begin with. He starts the game by putting the Sinister Trap on the middle point, and that is tricky for me. Because I was trying to steal that middle point at the very beginning of the game. So we start. Instead of taking that point, I try to think about ways that I'm gonna try and force him to get too close to it and set off his Sinister Trap. And in round 1, everyone activates, and I'm looking at things, and Doc Ock has the ability to throw someone. So Doc Ock, at the beginning of round 2, was almost certainly going to move up and throw someone into the Sinister Trap. So instead of allowing that to happen, Crystal just took one for the team, ran up, and got blown up by the Sinister Trap. It wasn't too bad, but I think she took 3 damage. So that is actually pretty bad. And she was pushed off the point, and she's not able to get it. So that doesn't go well. After round 1, it's 4-4 at the end of round 1. Round 2 starts. Steven immediately begins this round using, what's it called? Well-laid plans. This absolutely screws me over. Everyone I have who is currently holding an objective is now no longer holding an objective. They all take I think Gorgon took something like 3 damage from this well-laid plans. It was quite bad. And then he activates Lizard, and Lizard and Craven the Hunter do a surprise webhead and take Gorgon off the table before he even begins to take actions. Oh, no, not off the table, but daze him. I was really counting on Gorgon having an activation this round, and we're already off to a bad start. Doc Ock does a lot of damage on his side, and Emma Frost spends most of this round just doing next to nothing. Because I think the reason why is because she was holding a Spider Infected, and I was able to push her off of a terrain piece, so she had to spend most of this round getting onto the other side of the terrain piece to be relevant to the game. But this round goes really bad for me. Round 2, I get absolutely hammered. I think he scores something like 7 points to my 1. It is really quite bad. Round 3 is my swing back turn. I do great. I daze most of his team. I daze Green Goblin. I daze Craven the Hunter. I don't daze Lizard, but I do push him back into the corner. Like, I push him way out of the fight. And I beat up Doc Ock. I don't think I dazed him. I don't think I dazed him this game. Doc Ock was weirdly effective in every way this game. He was rolling wilds when he does his builder, and he rolled real well on defense. And his defensive rolls, it was Maximus the Mad attacking Doc Ock, and he has 4 Mystic defense. So he's got really good Mystic defense, and I was not able to take him out. So there's that too. And at whenever I think this only really happened once, but it was pretty bad for me. During the spider infected movement, he's able to trigger tricks and traps with Green Goblin and throw stuff at me and do a lot more damage than I'm willing to take. There's so many things that come up that are Spider Foe specific. He uses custom upgrades with Green Goblin against Baron Zemo. He used Surprise Webhead and Sinister Traps and Well-Laid Plans. Man, the Spider Foe's game is really like tactics card heavy and effective. I kind of miss it. I miss that. But Steven wins this game pretty handily. This is actually, I would say, probably the worst I get defeated in this tournament. He beats me 18-11. Good job, Steven. Well done. And yeah, that's how my round 3 went. Brad, why don't you tell us about your round 3?
Pass.
Pass. Okay, Tom, why don't you tell us about your round 3?
Yeah, so I got paired up with this APOC player. So I don't know, Brad. I was pretty scared going into round 2 because we open up. We're just jockeying for position. We're on lockdown and Inhuman Weapons, playing 18. So APOC's pretty happy because he gets to play 4/3 threats in APOC. I bring Kingpin, Rhino, Bullseye, Shang, and Bill. My thought process being, I'm not entirely sure what to do on Lockdown and Inhuman because he's got a strong pressure on the midline. But if I can just have tanky models, I can continually contest his spaces. And when I say tanky, I'm assuming Bill and Shang, and obviously Kingpin and Rhino. Bullseye's just there to run the bases. And Brad's first shot with APOC does, 4 crits, and I don't know, I think he had 8 on his first attack into Bill, leaving Bill on 1 starting round 2, and I'm terrified. Brad, don't know how you're feeling at that point, but you looked pretty happy.
I was very happy, yes.
So Brad's got Prio. You had Prio that round,
yes,
I think.
Yeah.
Yep. So he pops Bill. Bill falls back just to keep the extract out of APOC's hands, but I try to maintain a decent distance where I can still get back into the game when he pops back up. That round, I think we're doing a lot of rotational things. He throws another attack into Kingpin after that, but then I run in with Shang and start staggering, I believe, APOC and Magic. And I'm just trying to get in a position where I can maintain a point parity and then try to nuke APOC off the table, or at least stagger him as many times as possible between Kingpin and Shang. So I think we go into I think we're still like tied that round or something, because I couldn't really push for points because one of the points rotated and turned off, blah, blah, blah. Top of 3, this is where Bill has his real clapback. He walks over and God Hunter APOC through a Servant's and a recal, or did you recal the second turn? I can't remember.
They weren't on the same turn.
Yes. Game. So you use the Servants on this one. Still goes through. God Hunter just God Hunters him. We bully back and forth all that round, and then top of 4, I still have Prio and Bill double God Hunters again because he's just taking chip damage and things like that. and that's pretty much the game because now APOC is off the table. I haven't lost anyone yet, and at that point, I'm just going to start splitting points across the board. I don't know, Brad, if you have any other thoughts.
I do flip several of his people, but not Rhino and not Kingpin. I got Kingpin so low and could not flip him. So he still had those two people who could just steal points off of me, no problem. And so, yeah, that was enough. Like, without APOC there to help me finish the models off, that leadership's so good. I've been saying since it came out, it should be nerfed.
Yeah, APOC is pretty good.
That's not who I'm talking about, Tom. They are
I mean,
nerfing
yeah,
APOC, and they've said
this is
nothing about
Blackhausen.
Kingpin.
But yeah, I think that game really came down to the fact that because APOC rolled so hot to power up Bill,
Yeah.
when Bill has power, he is disgusting into APOC specifically with God Hunter.
Yeah, I wanted to kill him and take him off the table. That did not work.
I believe it.
Well, so that puts Tom at 3-0 right now. Brad lost this game, so he's 2-1, and I'm 1-2. There's one more thing I wanted to add. That in my game against Steven, I had a Terrigenesis whiff. I tried to Terrigenesis and I rolled 0 successes, which happens. That's the thing about Terrigenesis is it is dice dependent. So, yeah, that hurts. That it always sucks when that happens, but that's part of it. All right, let's move to round 4. My round 4 opponent was Bryce, and we were playing on Scrawls Infiltrate, and on Lockdown on table 6. So this means that I have played Lockdown on table 6 every round of this tournament. This a statistical anomaly, but I think Inhumans are pretty solid into Lockdown, so it worked in my favor in that
Unless
regard.
there's
but,
a honey badger on the table.
Yeah, you're right. Weirdly, Honey Badger is a Lockdown menace because she can put out Jeff the talking mongoose or whatever, and he
Jonathan,
just
the
sits.
actual Wolverine.
You heard me, and he just sits back range 2 away from a lockdown and secures it the entire game. But that's neither here nor there. In this game, Bryce, we were playing at 20 threats. We were both pretty wide. I was playing Maximus the Mad, Medusa, Zemo, Gorgon, Karnak, and Crystal. That's 20 threat, yeah. And Bryce was playing Doc Strange. He was playing Echo, Rhino, Beta Ray Bill, and another 4-threat model, Shang-Chi. It was Shang-Chi. And so, can I just say, this game, my entire team was hexed the entire game, it felt like. It was very rare for me to blow up a crit. And when I did, when it did happen, I was really excited. It felt really good. But usually, I'm just
Not blowing up any crits. Maximus the Mad in this matchup was an absolute godsend. I could move his people who have already activated off of secures. I could, and I think I did that pretty early to move Doc Strange into threat of everyone on my team. Like I moved him towards the center of the board. That turned out to be a mistake because Doc Strange was healing people all game. This I think I put out way more damage than Bryce did, but he healed so much because of Doc Strange throughout the course of this entire game. This was the grindiest of grindy matches that I've played in a long time. We were both pretty hitty and both pretty tough, and this ended up being, it went to 6 rounds, and we went close to clock. And Bryce and I are both fast players. we don't go to clock very frequently. I think that Bryce said that this was the closest to clocking himself that he had ever been. And that is same for me. It was the closest I've ever been to clocking myself. Um, this just came down to attrition. At a certain point, I believe there were 2 rounds where Rhino went off and did all sorts of Rhino stuff. And Rhino essentially won Bryce this game just by
being able to travel across the entire board and be in places where I didn't want him to be. Otherwise, I dealt with Shang-Chi. Karnak, I love the Karnak and Shang-Chi matchup because Karnak is a surprisingly good tool to use against him. I can push him. I can put a weakness token on him. And then once I get a weakness token on him, I throw 10 dice counting skulls in both rolls. And I don't care how many blanks he rolls. I'll just out dice him. And that's what happened. But yeah, I lose this game, but it is a razor thin close one. If one thing went my way at any point in this game differently, I think that I pull this one out. This game ends 18-15, but like that is one activation from being completely flipped on its head. And I did successfully Terragenesis this game. That is something I should point out. Okay, Brad, why don't you tell us about your round 4?
I played Mac, who was playing Mighty Avengers. I hate Blue Marvel, so I wasn't looking forward to this. We get Legacy Virus and Deadline to Destruction. He picks 16 points. So I have to cut a Horseman. I choose not to take a Death. I take Pestilence Toad, Famine Psylocke, and War Wolverine.
Ooh.
And he takes Spectrum, Blue Marvel, of course. Bill and somebody. Oh, it was Sam Wilson. Let's see who the last one was. This was a long game, so I'm not going to be able to do this beat by beat, but Apocalypse puts all but 1 damage, so 1 point of damage short from dazing Spectrum on turn 1. She does not daze until I think turn 5. Part of that, most of that really, is Mac and I got the reverse Pierce interaction backwards, and we both know better. I don't know what we were thinking. It was a long day. We were tired. So Logan couldn't quite finish her off, despite making several attacks. This was a close enough game that if we had got that right the first time and she went down, I would have won instead of losing. Spoiler. But between Apocalypse and especially Psylocke, Beta Ray Bill dies. I do eventually flip Spectrum, but like I said, it's so late in the game. So fast forward to the end, towards the end of the game, we tie at 17 points on like turn 6. So we go into turn 7. We both try so hard to get a points advantage. I think at this point in the game, he has a healthy Blue Marvel with a thingy on him, and I have Apocalypse flipped, and he has Spectrum flipped. And we are scoring 3 points a turn each on turn 7, and then we go into turn 8, and we play this whole round. At the Apocalypse ends up dazing Blue Marvel. off of the throw after he deathed. So I rolled 3 extra dice. If you go back to just a minute or 2 minutes back in the podcast, you'll notice I said I didn't take death. So I had cheated, and it was a long day, and we were on turn 8, and I said I'll go back 1 point because we're going to tie again and go into turn 9. So I was like, I'll go back 1 point, and you win the game, and we can be done playing because I cheated. And he was like, please. And so that's what we did. And I think he wins turn 9 anyway. Because we started playing turn 9. And Apocalypse, I had priority, and Apocalypse had gone. And Apocalypse did not do what he needed to do. So I'm pretty sure he had the game anyway, but we just fixed it and moved on with our lives.
And 8 rounds.
Yeah, 8
9.
rounds.
Yeah.
We would have been on round 9. Yeah.
I don't think I've ever done that.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy.
It sounds. I'm glad that you came to an amicable situation. I mean, it was a long day, and at round 4, it was an incredibly grindy game. It was like that for both of us, and that just takes it out of you.
I just also want to make sure I say, Fred, we played 2 more rounds than you, and we had plenty of time on the clock. Like, he had 18 minutes, and I had like 20,
That's true.
21. So I don't know what you were doing over there with Bryce.
We had so many, we were not killing each other's models. We had, in the round 6, we both still had something like 5 models each on the table. So
is this the Spider Foes game?
No, this was he was playing Defenders, and I was playing Inhumans.
Because I was gonna note, into Spider Foes, your clock goes way faster than you think it does because they have a lot of reactive stuff on your turns.
Right? Yeah, you're right. But no, I think that this was just a case of we're just doing so much each round. But okay, that's not relevant. Tom, why don't you tell us about your round 4 game to catch everyone up? Tom is undefeated at this point, and Tom's opponent is Better Brandon, who has been on this podcast in the past and is a defender of West Virginia. So tell us about how this game went, Tom.
Yeah, so I've not played against Brandon before. He seems like a pretty good player, actually. But I think in this case, he made two weird mistakes, and they both happened before the game started. So he is playing Shield, and I'm playing Kingpin. I win Prio, and I take his secures, and he has a lot of spread sit-on secures. So I'm able to get Extremis. And then from my pile, he pulls Scrolls and something else. I don't remember. We don't find this out till later in the game. He was unaware that Namor can't steal civilians. So he chooses Scrolls and goes 20 points. And unfortunately, one of his steals is not operating. And the turn 3 is when it starts up. And he just didn't realize it was going to happen. The second oddity, I think, is with Kingpin on secures. In order for your opponent to really push through the damage, you really don't want to give Kingpin a high threat, and he chose 20 threat, which means I just had a lot of bodies that are always going to be healthy. So he runs Invincible Iron Man, Nick Fury Jr., Namor, Spider-Woman, probably somebody else I'm forgetting. Yep, forgot it. And then I've got just a really wide criminals with like Rhino and Shang and everybody. And this game comes down to I have so many bodies that I can rotate on points. I'm generally winning 3 of the 4 secures and threatening to grab another one with all my long movers. And so he starts playing a little more aggressively into my like castle pocket of Kingpin while I'm rotating into that pocket, threatening steals. Oh, he has Miles. That's what it is, original Miles. So he's got steals on the table too, but when he has to start coming into my Kingpin bunker, I've got the damage output of Echo and Shang kind of really mitigating things as they come into me. Because once I've got the secure lead on VPs in round one by like 2 points, I'm able to really play passively and make him waste activations coming towards my models. And I think that strong rotation and being able to heal on the extremists really makes it difficult for him to get the momentum he needs. And my favorite thing happens in the game where I am playing on a secure and I have a black cat or all the way on like his cards on the other side of the table in the left hand corner, and I've got another one of my models going towards the right hand corner holding an asset, and I'm just trying to split his attention in so many ways that he can't catch up.
That sounds like a complicated game. Sorry, there's a fire truck going by. Brad, why don't you carry on the conversation?
Hey, that was a fun tournament.
Sorry,
The
sorry. Okay.
the Missing Falls Brewery tournament, so the brew brawls and this charity event. There was a charity event. They raised what was it, $1,500?
He said $1,500.
Yeah, for the like Boys and Girls Club and stuff in the area. We did a bracket challenge. I completely went off topic of what I was saying, but we did a bracket challenge. Tom won that.
Yes, I predicted winners very well.
Yes, good job, Tom. We I want the thing I was getting to was come to Akron Brew Brawl and stuff. It's a good tournament at a great location, great people. Drew does a good job running it. The food's pretty good. They had wraps this time, and they had a wrap that was like an Italian sub. It was so good.
The food is very good. You should come for the food, but stay for the games.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Can I just this tournament was the ultimate tournament of our Appalachian Cup event. This has been so fun. I really enjoy taking part in this. I cannot stress enough how much everyone should try to attend this tournament series. It is so fun. The people are fun to play, and we're playing at a high level. So if you know what you're doing, if you want to participate in people who are playing the game well and get better in the process, come to these events. This is fun, and you should play. Okay. Well, I want to say a thank you. Obviously, Tom is the winner. Congratulations on
Thank you, sir.
pulling
Thank you,
out a first place in the 2025-2026 Appalachian Cup. You were awarded the winner's belt for
yes.
MCP. This was awesome.
That was cool.
It is like a wrestling belt with a huge belt buckle, but it says MCP and Appalachian Cup on the belt buckle. It's great. It's an awesome thing. And the idea, I think, is that it's going to be passed from winner to winner. It's like the Stanley Cup. So it is yours to defend for the 26-27 year. And
Yes.
uh,
And I'm sure every when the finals come and I'm holding the belt with me, dressed as Macho Man Randy Savage, it will be a great time to play.
Indeed. All right. Well, we rode up with JP and Better Brandon, and they also had a great time. It is a much further drive for them because they live about 2 hours south of us, and so they have to add that
on to their day. So I appreciate them making the drive to attend this event. They are both great players, JP and Better Brandon. So they should be participating in this, and I appreciate them making the effort to do so.
Yeah, I really liked Brandon's list when I looked at it. It was a cool shield list. It had so
Yeah.
many neat ideas.
Yeah, for the people at home, he has lots of energy attacks. Is playing the original Human Torch
Yeah.
and the
Mhm.
card. So
Yeah, he's got a
And
I thought he was going to bring Hulkbuster into me.
oh yeah, he does have Hulkbuster in his list.
Yeah, in the car on the way there, he was describing why he has original Human Torch, and I was thinking to myself, have we been sleeping on this guy? Should this guy be played a lot more frequently? Because he sounds really good.
Well, so I talked to Brandon before. I don't know, maybe it was before our game, Brad, because I was curious about his
Mm-hmm.
list. And I've used original Human Torch. That is a model that has a couple really weird issues with his range bands and his health. I mean, his range bands are 2 and 3, and he's kind of a flat 5 health model with like a 3-4-3, and all of his stuff seems like it's costed like one too high. That being said, if he gets just numbers tweaked in this next update, he is a really interesting model. If he gets a little more range, so he's not in combat, and a little more health, like he's very interesting.
He has like a beam 2 spender that he
Correct.
can blow up to be 11
11
dice
dice.
if he. Yeah,
But does damage to him, and he's only a 5 health model.
right. Yeah. So
And
he's weird.
yeah, he's a very weird model. I've used him quite a bit, just trying to test him out, and I really want him to work. I was running him in Midnight Suns at one point, but like, he dies a little too quick, and
That's fair.
his stuff is all like 1 power more than you think it will be.
Right, right. Okay. All right. Well, that is our discussion on the Appalachian Cup event, the final event. And let's talk about a character that is better than the original Human Torch. Let's talk about Omega Sentinel, otherwise known as Karima Shapander. Is that
Shapandar.
Shapander?
Good,
Shapander.
good.
okay. Her defenses are 3, 3, and 3. She has 7 stamina on the front of her card, but only 6 on the back of her card. She is a threat value of 4, size 2, and she is a long mover. She is also on a small base and affiliated with the Sentinels affiliation. Brad, why don't you do her attack suite?
Her first attack is physical, or you can choose for it to be energy. Dynamistic Bio Blast. Range 3, 5 dice, cost 0. Gain power for the damage dealt. And Wild Suppression. After the attack is resolved, the defender loses 1 power for each wild in the attack roll. Her second attack is physical, but you can choose to make it energy. Engineered Extermination. Range 3, 7 dice, cost 4. Before damage is dealt, if the defender is size 4 or less, throw it short.
Okay. Hey, Tom, do you mind doing a lot of reading?
I am a great reader. She's got charge for 2. That is all I'm saying about charge. And then she's got a reactive Omega cycle for 2 costs. When this character is targeted by an enemy attack or would suffer a collision, it may use this superpower. It's what Vision wants to be. Remove the current nano shift type, then choose a new nano shift type. And then she's got 3 separate types. Adaptive nano shifting protocols. During the power phase, this character chooses a nano shift type. Hardened Carapace. This character rolls 2 additional dice when defending against physical attacks. Additionally, when it would suffer damage from a collision, it reduces the amount of damage suffered by 1. Plasmatic Cloaking. This character gains the Stealth superpower. It rolls 2 additional dice when defending against energy attacks. Electrostatic Pole. When this character is attacking, it may reroll up to 2 of its dice. Additionally, this character cannot be advanced or pushed by mystic attacks or enemy superpowers. She's also got an infinite Cyberpathy. When this character rolls dice while interacting with a secure objective, it may reroll up to 2 of its dice. The first time each turn this character interacts with a secure objective, after the effect is resolved, it gains a power. and she's flight and immune to bleed and poison.
Okay. So, Tom, what are your first thoughts at looking at this model?
So she's got so much stuff on her card. And that's usually a good thing. And so I have gotten one test game in with her, and she feels really good. Um, but she is tricky to use. So if anyone's used Vision, you know that Vision is generally played in Steve 1 because shifting your phase condition for 2 is expensive on your power generation. And he's got some of the best power generation in the game because he's got a range 4 beam and the ability to meditate. She is also adapting that, but her 3 separate nano types, like they're so different. You want electrostatic pole on because you want to attack and reroll 2 dice, but then she's just a 3/3/3. Yeah, she has 7 HP, but a 3/3/3 isn't doing that well for a 4 threat, which means when she's attacked, you're pretty much trying to change it to one of the other ones, and then you can reset it in the other phase. But when you start adding in that she wants to charge as well, it's tough. Her power economy is very difficult to understand. That being said, a long move flyer that is amazing at interacting with pay to flip secures is great. I think this is a model that people are going to try splashing in a lot of places. I would put her in criminals, for example, because pay to flips are one of the things I splash for and just ignore. I leave Kingpin at home, and she might be the one of the best 4 cost pay to flip models there could be. But she's tricky. She's not as easy to run as you think looking at her card.
I have played against her a few times, and can I say, when I first read this card, I thought to myself, this person is broken. She is just way too powerful. She's got too much stuff going on, and playing against her, I agree with you. It's like she doesn't do quite as much as she reads like she should, and I think that's because she never has enough power to do everything she wants to do. Well, Brad, as the person who has played her the most that I know, what are your thoughts on Omega Sentinel?
Well, the power thing is real. She does not have the power she needs unless she's taking a bunch of damage, and you don't want to do that just in the game in general. I do appreciate that her defenses are all 3 base instead of having the 2 that you can boost dice on be 2 like a lot of the shifters. I think that's
Like Red Skull 2.
I think Red Skull 2 and Vision both do it that way.
Yeah.
So getting that extra die is nice. Picking attack type is good. And the suppression really leans into Bastion's gameplay of stripping, of preventing your opponents from powering up and getting to do what they want to do. I have found that in my games I have quickly just given up on the electrostatic pole, that unless I have priority and I'm going to activate her immediately, I just don't bother because she needs the defenses.
She tends to be a target.
Yeah. She really does.
She's oftentimes in your opponent's face, trying to flip points that they have on their back line.
I also don't think she may be worth playing in faction if you're not playing on a pay to flip. If you're on one of the regular secures, I think a Mark IV is better at one of those scenarios than she is, unless it's like a D, where her speed will really come into play.
I definitely think that you have to abuse the fact she's a long move flying charger, right? Like, so she turn 1 can get to a flip and then have that extra power to start round 2 with 2, but you should position her outside of line of sight of things. because to your point, you want
Yeah.
her to charge and have the 2 rerolls to power her kit, but she can't afford to take those hits early. Yeah, she has 7 health, but you know, it's funny. She reminds me of Apex Sabretooth, where you've got so many things to do with power that it's difficult not to use power leaderships with these models. Um, but they're not necessarily, well, she is not necessarily in a power leadership unless you're using Prime.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's with Prime often, right? Like this is someone that you play with Prime
I
more
don't
than
I don't
Bastion.
think anyone's playing Prime as a leader anymore.
I
Oh,
don't
okay.
know. I don't know. I think there's reasons for it still. I think Bastion has some issues with his power economy as well. As cool as his leadership is, if he rolls bad, he doesn't have power.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I've definitely experienced that.
Yeah, he's just a,
Uh-huh.
range 4 or 5 die attacker. Yes, he gets 2 power, but he's often using that to reroll, and he's got reactive abilities. So I think there still is a world for Prime, specifically because a model like this is the kind of thing that you're looking to power up. It's so hard to tell. It's so early in the Sentinel development cycle, or like for the brain trust and the meta to develop around them.
Right. Yeah.
But I
Okay,
could see
so
using I would use her in a power leadership. I don't know which one, but I definitely would.
Yeah.
She feels splashable. If you can power her kit, she does so many things. It's just
We
hard.
we don't know her affiliations for sure, except I mean, she's obviously Sentinel. She served on an X-Men team. I would love to see her get the X-Men affiliation and be able to play with Cyclops.
Hmm.
that would be cool.
It
That
would
would be cool.
it would be cool. Even if it's not
I
even that great, it would be cool.
You know,
I want to talk. Oh, you go ahead. Sorry.
well, that's scary, specifically because of the way her cyberpathy would interact with first class.
Ooh. Oh
You
my
mean like she
gosh.
could go and get a free one and then get refunded, so she would be sitting on 2 power?
And then
And
charge.
then charge.
That would be pretty amazing.
But X-Men may need something like that because like they're not in a good spot.
That would be a back zone threat, which AMG is pretty allergic to.
Yeah, and honestly, that would feel more like a Professor X thing if she was given that, because then she would give a power with the char. There's so much there. That's scary. Maybe-
I say do it. Let's see what happens.
The X-Men player in
AMG,
the
if
group.
you're listening, no one at AMG is listening. AMG, if you're listening, it's not too late. Do it.
All right. Well, I want to talk a little bit about the reroll that she gets on pay to flips. This reroll, how often has a game been decided because you can't flip the damn McCran crystal? How many times has that happened to you? Because it's happened to me a lot. I know it's happened to Brad quite a bit.
Oh yeah.
So like
Sure
this
did miss by
reroll.
50-50 10 times in a or 5 times in a row on McCran last time
Uh-huh.
in the
So wouldn't
finals.
you love to have a reroll?
Oh yeah.
That reroll could be the difference between winning and losing the game. And what I'll say is there are a few models that have that reroll available to them. I believe Black Panther Chosen of Bast, or I should say, have the ability to do a reroll um, on a pay to flip, and in every other case it costs power, and in this case it's free.
Is the
Uh,
new is the new mutants one the card? I think that also can
oh,
do it.
I did not think of that. I don't know if that costs. That's a.
I
I
can't
didn't.
recall.
I can't either. But the fact that she has a free reroll on a pay to flip is a huge advantage. I think that is a major tick in her column as a valuable model to have. Uh, like I think that Brad, I forget who said this, but you don't take her if you're not planning on a pay to flip. I don't think she's
so.
worth. Yeah, I think that you'd rather just have a Mark IV Sentinel.
I don't know. I think it's really early to make that statement. I mean, she is
Okay.
a long move flying charger. That goes a
Yeah,
long way.
yeah, you're right. Okay. Well, there is a tactics card that is associated with Omega Sentinel that we should discuss. That card is called Extinction Event. It is an attack tactics card. It is unaffiliated. It is active and it costs an action. During Omega Sentinel's activation, she may spend 2 power to play this card. Omega Sentinel makes the Extinction Beam attack shown above. Extinction Beam. It is an energy range 5, 8 dice attack, and it costs 0, but it costs 2 because that's on the cost of the card. On a crit hit wild, it has the rule strafe. After this attack is resolved, this character may make an additional Extinction Beam attack without paying the power cost. This additional attack must target a character within range 2 of the original defender that has not been targeted by Extinction Beam this round. What do you guys think about this? Okay, so the biggest problem, obviously, is this is an attack card. But this is a pretty solid one. Range 5, 8 dice, and the ability to attack someone nearby if you get a trigger. It's not an impossible trigger. It's a 3-step trigger with a crit and a wild, but it's not impossible with 8 dice. What do you get?
It's a podcast trigger.
It is a
It is-
podcast.
it is a- It's a podcast trigger. What do you guys think about this card? Tom, what are your first thoughts here on do you take this card ever?
If it was a beam, yes, but it's not.
Yeah. You
I
could
think
get multiple attacks out of it, but
so. Inside the Sentinel affiliation, you're sitting on some of the strongest cards that have generally been unexplored currently because Sentinels have not been popular. I mean, but you're sitting on things like Directive One or um, the Revive a Sentinel card if you're playing Prime still, which I think
or
some people should.
or the blow up one where the Mark IV just explodes.
I don't know if I would consider that one as strong as like taking away all the ability to modify dice and ignore line of sight. That's kind of a huge
Mhm.
card.
Yeah.
That
um,
card's amazing, by the way. Just so good.
this, if Gamma was still in the game and you really wanted to do weird Mighty Avengers things, I see a place for this card. But those are not the cases. I don't think it's worth it.
Okay. Okay. Brad, what are your thoughts?
So there's a 42% chance of hitting this trigger on 8 dice.
Okay.
That's, I mean, we're getting close to a coin flip. That's,
Well, you can give it 10 dice. You have 2 rerolls.
yeah. 2 rerolls probably push it over 50%. Attack cards are bad unless they're like crazy. Don't play this
Yeah.
card.
Yeah, that's the biggest problem is that this is an attack card.
Like
And
there's cool ideas with it. Like what I mean, it's unaffiliated, so you could play it in Mystique. But her special thing doesn't apply to extracts. It's only I don't know. It just doesn't feel right.
This type of attack where they can attack someone who hasn't been attacked yet is interesting. I think doesn't Red Skull 3 have something like this? And the
Dormammu.
attack card, the Dormammu has it. Okay, and the attack card for Black Panther has this one as well, where if you get a trigger, you can target someone nearby. I remember once Borka played a meme roster where he just. This was back when you could Spirit of Wakanda and give power to everyone in round 1, and he used that ability to use that card, and he killed my entire team in 1 round. just by attacking every single, because he just moved down the line and killed every single person on my team. He had to get the trigger every time, but he had something. He had Mantle of the Black Panther, so he had full rerolls on each attack. So it was absolutely devastating. But like that was something that you can't manufacture anymore. It's impossible now, and that's never going to happen in Sentinels. So
I
I don't think
mean,
this.
isn't it though? Like you could, if you're building for it, you've got two native rerolls. You're splashing a Zemo. You're running under Prime to get more rerolls once per turn, and he's giving you two. And like you can do a lot with it. It's just you're building a whole team hoping on a card spike,
Right. If your dice fail you in one roll, that's it.
and they have to be within two, right? So like the game currently is a spread game. You're not getting a lot of models that are within a bubble. Maybe Shield will have more than two models next to each other, but
And they can
yeah.
use the grunts as a bridge. Like
Well, can I
hit
don't
hit grunts, hit someone within two of the grunts.
know
Only
because
if
the
the
grunts
grunts
are dead.
live.
Yeah, the grunts are dead after that. I'm saying
Uh,
because you've got Zemo, Namor, bubbles and
oh,
stuff
I
like
see what you're
that.
saying.
I feel like I'll put it this way: this is the kind of card that people will take, and it will randomly win them a game immediately, but most of the time not. And those card slots are so valuable. It's difficult to take this card knowing that you've already got a lot of good attacks and like on your cards regularly and so many good tactic cards.
I have this is a conversation that has happened many a time now, that there are these cool tactics cards that come out, and no one will ever take them because the tactics cards economy is so limited. Do you think that there's any chance that they will do something to like make it so that it's 6 in a game instead of 5, or I don't know, restrict more cards?
I
Maybe
mean,
restrict
who knows?
recalibration matrix.
Who knows? I use Ricochet Blast. That's a good card. It's an attack
Ricochet
card.
Blast is a rare. It is a good card. I agree. Blast is really good.
So I don't know. I don't know if we want a million cards in the game because there is a balance point at which you don't want the game to go on forever.
Yeah. Fair. Fair.
Eight
Okay.
8 rounds is a lot.
It sure is. Sure is.
All right.
And
Well.
yeah.
With two
You go
rerolls,
ahead,
by the
Matt.
way, two rerolls, it goes up to 51%. So it is a coin flip with those rerolls.
But they still
Okay.
have to be within two of each other, and there's just not that
Yeah.
many models. You might hit two normally, which
Right.
hey, two is a lot. It's a lot of dice to hit for two, but your cards are so valuable. It's difficult to take cards that don't give you a more immediate effect without rolling or
Yeah.
having re-rolls.
I agree. All right. Well, we need to give a letter grade to Omega Sentinel. So how we've been discussing her, that she reads really, really powerful, but there are some flaws with her design that I don't know if they're flaws with her design, but some balancing issues where she is always going to be power hungry. I think she's really effective, but I've also faced her on the table and she wasn't overwhelmingly dominant. She was someone who I could deal with. Uh, she's a tool. Like, she is a toolbox character. She's someone you bring in specific circumstances where you know that she will have value to your team, and where you can make the most out of those 4 threat that she's costing to bring. So I think that she's a solid B. That's where I'm going to put her. I think she's a solid B. You'll bring her. She will see the table in some matchups, and she won't see the table in other matchups. Brad, what do you want to give to Omega Sentinel?
I generally like her as a tech piece. In certain situations. I hate agreeing with Fred, but I think he's probably got it right. It's a B.
And Tom, what do you think about Omega Sentinel?
I think I'm higher on her than you guys are. I think she has a lot of splash potential to help round out teams' ability to do pay to flips. One thing I see difficult for her is they were very, very cautious with cyberpathy to make sure it's only secure objectives, and we're about to get a whole bunch of source extracts because that would have been really, really strong if that worked on any objective.
Yeah.
Um,
Mm.
but but remember, this is also if she interacts with Extremis to heal someone, she gets a power back. If she interacts with Deadline, she gets a power back. I think I think there's a lot here on this card that'll take a minute to digest. Um, but I think she's got the potential to be a very strong sentinel and potential splash piece in that fourth threat spot, particularly with Shane getting hopefully properly nerfed.
Right.
That
Okay.
opens up a lot in that four slot to think about.
That is true. That is true.
I'm looking at her for criminals.
That
Okay,
makes
for
sense.
the whenever you get dropped into pay to flips, which you
Yeah,
don't want to see.
criminals are running in a pay to flip. I'm usually running three other long movers. So why not have four long movers
Yeah,
and just win
that
rotational that way?
her and Prowler are a hell of a team on a pay to flip.
Well, Echo, Black Cat, Loki. Loki too is the one like putting her up, and I don't know. There's a lot there.
That's true. Okay. Well, that is our take on Omega Sentinel. Brad, do you have any comic book recommendations that feature this model?
I do. I have three again. I like doing X-Men characters. First one is X-Men Unlimited 27. This is Chris Claremont, Joe Pruitt, Ron Lim. Karima Shandapar is a police officer in India who is assigned to look after Neil Shara while he looks for his missing brother. A romance blooms. Then they are kidnapped by Bastion and find out that Neil's brother has been made into a Prime Sentinel. And Bastion plans to do the same to Karima and Neil. During this, Neil's mutant power manifests and goes off and destroys the building, but not before Karima is turned into a Prime Sentinel. Dun dun dun. Then
Dun dun dun.
and then Excalibur 204. I didn't write this down, I don't think, but it's starting in issue 4. Chris Claremont and Aaron Lepresti. Xavier and Magneto, who the world thinks is dead. Magneto, not Xavier. Are trying to rebuild the island nation of Genosha after Cassandra Nova used Sentinels to destroy it. Omega Sentinel comes to the island to exterminate them, but Magneto and Xavier are able to disable the Sentinel programming, giving Karima control of her body again. She joins them in rebuilding and then works for the X-Men later. So I think I mentioned this in a previous episode, that whether you become a Prime Sentinel or not was based on genetics, not your feeling for mutants. Karima has no problem with mutants. She was forced into being a Sentinel anyway.
And this is why you think that there's a slight possibility she could be an X-Man.
I'm not done.
Oh, okay.
Next, series X-Men 192 through 200. Mike Carey and Chris Bachalo. I don't remember how he pronounces it. This is one of my favorite X-Men books. This is also, I believe, it's at least the second time Karima's been on an X-Men team. But Beast finds and reassembles Omega Sentinel, and she joins Rogue's new X-Men team that includes Lady Mastermind and Mystique. I've talked about some of this comic before. They fight some bad guys, And at one point, Omega Sentinel gets possessed by a psychic enemy, Malice. People will know Malice from that skin of Invisible Woman from Marvel Rivals. But she gets possessed by Malice through a computer virus. It's actually very funny. And then they use her, new Marauders now have control of her and use her to fight the X-Men. Because who would have thought that Lady Mastermind and Mystique were going to betray the X-Men? Oh, no. She should be an X-Men. AMG, if you're listening.
They're not listening.
No.
They don't listen.
Actually, while we're at it, if you're listening, hire me as a comic book consultant. That'd be a great job. I know a lot of stuff about the comics.
Yes. Hire Brad for another job. He's already doing so many. Okay. Well, the only thing that's left is my non sequitur recommendation, and we are going way long, and I don't really have anything, so let's skip it. And let's just move on to the end of this podcast. All right. Well, I want to say thank you to Tom for joining us. Tom, it's always great to have you on, and we were betting on you to win this tournament anyway. If we're going to be perfectly honest,
I had him winning my bracket. So
yeah.
It's been a very good year for me.
So I that's because you are very good at this game, Tom. Let's be frank. You are consistently winning these tournaments. You're on this podcast a lot because you win lots of tournaments. And it's always nice to talk to you. You have a great perspective on everything, and you know what you're talking about, definitely. And I want to say a special thank you for joining us, for giving some credibility to this crazy podcast that we do.
Let's get all your power from my key spirit bomb that we can get squad goals this year.
Oh boy. All right. Well, and Brad, thank you for putting everything together. Thank you for running this podcast. And everyone out there who's listening, thank you for listening. We love that you are listening to us talk. And please come and play some games against us. Play in the App Cup in 26 and 27. We want more players. I think we had 64 this year.
Yes.
I want to crack 75. Everyone join. Everyone play. All right. That's it for us today. Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye, everyone.